Size matters, and that's what we keep getting asked. Does sizing matter when we're looking at the kilowatt size of an installation, as well as the kilowatt size of a inverter, as well as the kilowatt capacity of the site? When we're utility scale or industrial scale designing, these are 2 and 3 different moving parts that we're always struggling with. When we've got a fixed roof space, that can also kind of define the size of the system, and size really does matter. A lot of the time you're looking at the specific annual yield of a location to work out if it's worth the investment. But then when it comes to system sizing, so a question that gets asked quite a lot is a 10 kilowatt a 10 kilowatt? So 10 kilowatts of panels, does it give me 10 kilowatts all the time? No, sorry, it doesn't. 10 kilowatts of panels will obviously generate low in the morning, generate quite high during the day, and then drop off with the shading as well. If you've got shading in locations, then you're going to see a drop off in performance there as well. So is an 8 kilowatt system or 10 kilowatt system installed? A lot of us talk about, when we're talking about installed capacity, we're talking about the panels. So we're talking about, oh, we've managed to get like 200 and something panels on this job, that's a 100 kilowatt system. Now you may see a slightly different inverter size on that. That would show you that they're throttling the inverter, because they know that during the day, at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, as the solar irradiation goes up and comes back down again, then that's creating a power curve that then your inverter is sized to get the best out of that. Now, if you go too small with your inverter and you're pushing that inverter too much, you're giving it way too much DC, that can damage the inverter. Each inverter is different. Each inverter's got its own specific set of rules that it will work within on each individual string. So within the 10 kilowatt size or 100 kilowatt size, that inverter can work within a parameter. Some inverters really robust. You can really rag the nails out of them and give them absolute beans. Give it 110%, 120%. I've heard of people sizing even bigger than that. I obviously stay within the design capacity of the manufacturer's guidelines. We don't rule of thumb it, we don't guess it, we go off the book, because you don't want to void the warranty of a 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 grand inverter. Or a line of them, even worse than that, and you don't want to cause yourself any problems in the future with warranties. So you want to be smack bang in the middle of exactly where that inverter says its sweet spot is. That said, the inverters, the panels can give us quite a run for our money, because they're manufactured within a tolerance. Yes, we're saying to a client, yeah, we're going to get you 100 kilowatts on here. We do the maths, we sit the system size in there, and suddenly it's a megawatt size. And then we're realizing that actually, because the parameter of the panels is within a 5% tolerance, so that's another thing to look at. Data sheets are really, really useful when it comes to completely understanding the ins and outs of a system. When it comes to is 10 kilowatts 10 kilowatts, is a megawatt, is 100 kilowatts 100 kilowatts. The answer is no, it doesn't generate that all day long. It's the same with battery backup and battery installations as well. When we're sizing an inverter, obviously that inverter can output at that rate that it's set at. It won't output more than it can get from the batteries. So sometimes you'll see a megawatt of connection with 2 megawatts of storage behind it, with multiple megawatts of it being being panel fed as well, DC fed. So it really does demand, like, the design of the system is interlinked with, have we got enough space? How many panels can we fit on the roof? How many panels can we fit in the field? To what inverters have we got locally? What inverters have we got regionally? What can we design and build and wait on? Do we need to aircon that unit? Like, loads of questions come into play with sizing that inverter right for that location. And then the same with the battery. Like, what is this demand in this location looking like? What is this headroom looking like? You're asking yourself that series of questions of trying to engineer the best solution. When it comes to a small domestic, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, getting sold a 4 kilowatt or an 8 kilowatt, there's loads of times in in the UK, when there's a specification, but we can't go over this line and we need to get grid permissions for that. I did another video on that. But hopefully that's helping you guys understand that little bit of the relationship between size matters, and understanding the difference between when we've sized the system and we're talking about a system. Hey, are we talking about installed capacity? Are we talking about inverter capacity? Or are we talking about grid capacity? Because they're three different kind of conversations, and you need to talk three levels. You need to talk panels with the panel lads that are installing those panels for you. Hey, we need to get a full 80 kilowatts off this roof. Your AC guys, you guys installing your inverters. Hey, we need to make sure that this can, the switch gear that you're installing alongside this can handle that capacity, as well as then the national grid. Hey, locally, can you withstand what we're just about to pump into you 24/7 if we're battery, or can you take this ebb and flow, this intermittent feed that we're going to provide you? Because you got to understand that when that cloud comes across and that system performance drops regionally, there's going to be a kick. The grid has to be able to withstand that, which is the resilience part that we work on with clients a few times. So yeah, I hope that helps you understand the difference between when we're talking 8 kilowatts, will it generate 8 kilowatts? It's all to do with your specific annual yield. There's some really simple maths that you can do with system size to specific annual yield. Include your shading factor in there, and that will give you your kilowatt hours per year in there. It's a really rough guesstimate. You're best off using 3 and 4 different types of software to make sure that you're honing down into exactly what that system's going to do. But yeah, unfortunately, size does matter. Doesn't matter what they tell you, size matters, and getting the sizing correct from the very outset really does matter, because the last thing you want is a client that's been told, hey, we could fit 2-3 megawatts on here. You then deciding your panel size has brought you down a little bit, your framing size has brought you down another bit more, your inverters brought you down another bit more, and then your power to grid suddenly on an LV or MV connection, you've got some serious issues to deal with there, with headrooms and so on like that. So I hope that's helped. I hope that's added a bit more value and a bit more knowledge and a bit more of an idea to how these how the deep and crazy world of solar goes. That's Justin Dring, hopefully adding some knowledge and wisdom to the guys in the solar industry out there and the guys on the design teams.